Accused sex trafficker Jeffrey Epstein died in his prison cell Saturday, according to federal officials. And although he won't be able to appear in court, the legal issues linked to the multimillionaire remain.
A source with knowledge of his detention tells CNN that there appears to have been 2 breaks in protocol.
Why wasn't the accused sex trafficker and registered sex offender being regularly monitored? Why was he left alone in his cell after just coming off of suicide watch?
I really wanted justice. I really wanted him to take up for what he did and to be put in jail or prison and have to sit there and think about what it is he exactly did to so many people.
Well, the news of Jeffrey Epstein's apparent suicide in his New York prison cell has left a lot of people questioning why wasn't he being monitored around the clock. You heard some of those questions from my colleagues at CNN, and conspiracy theorists online, they're starting to say this was no accident. The 66-year-old multimillionaire and accused sex trafficker knew some of the richest and most powerful people in the world. Now, baseless conspiracy theories circulating online center around what power brokers may have known about Epstein and his alleged sex trafficking crimes, and that many may have wanted him dead. Epstein placed on suicide watch after he was found with marks on his neck July 23rd, but was taken off at the end of the month after he was cleared by a prison psychiatrist. After that, he was returned to his cell in a special housing unit. Sources tell CNN Epstein's cell was not regularly monitored the night he died, and he was in the special housing unit by himself. He had a cellmate at one point, but that person was removed, and it's unclear why. Let's bring in Larry Levine. Larry's the founder of Wall Street Prison Consultants, helps people survive life behind bars, and Larry also spent 10 years behind bars as a federal inmate. A couple years, I believe, Larry, a place similar to where Epstein was being held. So, you know, we've laid it out there. The facility says he took his own life. Conspiracy theorists say, no, they're not buying it. What do you say? What's your take on this?
Well, first of all, what is the shrink doing? They know the guy's facing a life sentence. They know he's psychologically unstable. What are they doing taking him off suicide watch? You know, a shrink had to clear him, and then they throw him in a cell. I think kind of like it was an inside job that somebody had something waiting in his cell for him. I don't know what it was, a bed sheet, a rope, something. So in other words, they knew he was unstable. They threw him back in a cell in the SHU, and they gave him the tools in which to kill himself. I don't think somebody really went in there and offed him, because then you would have a conspiracy within a conspiracy, and there's too many BOP, Federal Bureau of Prison staff members that would have to be involved in this. And I predicted this. I mean, people could check out my Facebook page, July 9th of this year, 3 days after he was arrested. I predicted that he would never come out of prison alive, and that they would call it a suicide, and that it would be a cover-up, essentially that he would possibly hang himself. So the jury is out on that. But more importantly, when you're in the SHU, it's like a prison within a prison. And there were 2, I believe, correctional workers working that shift. And there's only room for 80 people in the hole. In a regular housing unit like MDC Los Angeles, where I spent 2 years, it's like 120 inmates. And when they do a count, they can walk around that housing unit in maybe 10, 15 minutes and count everybody. Now, reports are saying that they hadn't checked on him for hours. So what were the 2 staff members doing for several hours? And probably somewhere between 5 and 5:30, they have a shift change where they bring on a new group of correctional officers, and they have to go through and they have to count to make sure that they're taking control of the same number of inmates that the last shift gave them. So there's a lot of holes in what the Justice Department is reporting.
What do you know about the protocols? How often should a guy like Jeffrey Epstein been observed?
I would say every 10 minutes. I mean, their job is to walk around. That's all they're really there for. MCC New York, MDC LA, there's 12 of these federal detention centers around the country. And they're there to support the court system. That's the whole point of having them. And you're talking about early in the morning on a weekend. So nobody's going to court. There's really no movement in and out of the SHU. So what were these people doing? I don't know. They're saying they didn't check in for several hours. Were they just sitting around BSing with each other? They clearly violated protocol and their jobs and security procedures. And, you know, there's people up in arms saying, well, where are the cameras? They don't put cameras actually in the cell for privacy reasons. But the housing unit itself, picture a long hallway, and there's doors on either side of the hallway, and those are the cell doors. So it's really easy just to make a circle. What were the people doing for several hours? You know, that's what troubles me. And there's a lot of people out there that are blaming a former president, a current president. What doesn't make sense. They knew that Epstein was dirty. Everybody knew that, who was in the know. So they could have killed him at any time. It's not plausible to me and other people I've spoken with. Why would they wait until the guy was in custody to kill him when they could have reached out to him anytime? So a lot of unanswered questions.
Well, Larry, always good to have you aboard. Larry Levine and his insights, again, the founder of Wall Street Prison Consultants, helping people survive life behind bars. Larry, good to see you as always. Thanks so much.